Veteran Salute is sponsored by the DeVaughn James Injury Lawyers.
A Stafford native was a sophomore at Washburn when he heard Uncle Sam's call. And as Gwen Bevel and photojournalist Nick Kiefer show us, when George Sanders showed up to sign up for the draft, a woman told him his notice was already in the mail.
George Sanders was part of the Americal Division and says they went where they were told to go. He still suffers from the effects of Agent Orange and so much more because of his time at war.
This picture here was the 196 reunion.
This was captured years after a fateful day in 1969.
This shows the activity that we had on March the 26th.
He still has this daily log from when his squad was running point.
The majority of that day I do not remember. And that was the day that I received my Purple Heart.
Sanders does remember what it was like when they first saw a North Vietnamese soldier coming their way.
We had thrown hand grenades to try to neutralize him.
Half of Sanders' company was killed in action or wounded that day.
Charles Walker is one of the guys in our company.
And Sanders says as Vietnam raged on, they lost so many more.
They all got caught in this ambush.
Richard Fife from Concordia never came home to Kansas.
He actually died of shock while he was on the operating table.
Sanders says some who did make it home faced new battles.
It was sad to lose him.
The man smiling here, Dan Watkins, overdosed once they returned.
I watched their back, and they watched my back.
Sanders says that's the way it was when they were in the jungle, and he wants the families of his fallen comrades to know their sacrifice will never be forgotten. He recently left his 196 shirt at the Vietnam Wall.
Two of them signify months I served in Vietnam.
And he says after the way they were treated once they got home, gifts like this quilt from the women of Quilts of Valor mean so much. 50 years after he got this draft card.
The sacrifice that these women put out to comfort, that's returning veterans.
Sanders says he has suffered for years with post-traumatic stress syndrome, and that's why he encourages others who have served or are serving who may be struggling being in crowds of people or those who are startled by loud noises to go to the VA to be checked out. Here for you, Gwen Bevel, KSN News 3.
Tonight we salute George Sanders for his service in the Army.
The DeVaughn James Injury Lawyers here, and I have the honor of introducing our Veteran of the Week, and that's Sergeant George Sanders, who served our country in Vietnam as a squad leader. He is also a recipient of a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star. On behalf of all of Kansas, thank you for your service.
I want to thank DeVaughn James for their support of us veterans.
Veteran Salute is sponsored by the DeVaughn James Injury Lawyers.